come January and like TikTok shop, I maybe have one TikTok shop video then, and then jump it on calls here and there when I can. And it's like dive full force into TikTok shop. This is where it's at. You need to be here. And I did. And then as the months rolled on, it was like, okay, I went from $1,000 on TikTok shop to 2,000 to 4,000 to 10 to 30 to 40. And now I'm like, all right, what's next month going to bring?
Welcome. Michelle and I are taking over the Brands Meet Creators interview today. And here we have Cassy. Cassy, tell us what's new in your life. Former teacher, but no longer.
Yeah, former teacher. I have been a teacher for the last, like, oh gosh, 14, maybe 15 years. And I just put in my resignation officially last week, and I'm saying goodbye to teaching. Never thought it was going to be possible. However, it was always like, what if? Can I do it? Can I do it? Can I do it? And I did it.
Cassy, what has happened in your life that you don't need to be a teacher anymore? You have to give us the scoop.
So, for the last almost 3 years, I have been creating content for companies, kind of stumbled into content creation, and turned out I was good at it and I really liked it. And I was like, oh, if there's other people online making money doing this, why can't I? And that's kind of like exactly what happened. I was like, well, why can't I make this much money? What can I do to make this much money? And I've continued to work hard while I was in my teaching job and waking up early, going to bed really late, raising my three kids, trying to have a relationship with my husband and our families. And it kind of just has taken over my life. And it's been good enough that it has completely replaced my teaching salary. And I don't need to be a teacher anymore when I can be my own boss, I can make my own schedule, and I can do something else that I absolutely love. So it's kind of where I'm at.
Wow, absolutely insane. Cassy, what did it take? Because realistically, this has kind of been on your mind for a while. You've been a content creator, you've probably had it in the back of your mind always like, well, if I could just replace that salary and do something I love. I'm sure you've been thinking about this for a while. So, how did you know it was time to leave the teaching job?
If you're looking for high converting products to work with on TikTok Shop, then you need to check out the Brands Meet Creators TikTok Shop games. We just partnered up with a handful of brands that are going to be offering bonus commission exclusively through our network. All of these brands have highly converting products. They have budget to boost your videos with ads, and they have a ton of viral potential. We're also going to be giving away a ton of prizes, including free tickets to our in-person mastermind event this year. And the best part about it, the Brands Meet Creators TikTok Shop games are completely free. You can join by clicking the link somewhere below this video.
Truthfully, we had our conversation when I joined Legends back in the spring, Nick, and you were like, all right, well, we're going to get there. We're going to get there. And I was like, okay, I'm going to get there. And I truly think it was just the community in BMC that has given me the confidence to make that shift happen, because I got back from the event in San Diego and I was like, all right, I need to make a change. And in our little breakout sessions that we had, Mike had said, you can't grow into pain. And what is your pain point? What's stopping you from continuing to grow? Because my husband's like, what did you go to San Diego for? What did you learn? What are you bringing back? Like, is it even worth it? I was like, yeah, it was, because I truthfully at that point came home and had the realization that what is stopping me from meeting my goals? What is the struggle? I went as far as like, okay, how am I going to do this? I posted on our local Facebook groups. I'm like, all right, I need a personal assistant. I need a virtual assistant. I need a house maker. I need somebody to do all of these things when I am able to do those things being home. I just needed to take that other thing off of my plate. And that other thing was teaching. That was the thing that was bringing me stress. That was the thing that was bringing me anxiety and aggravation and literally having panic attacks on my way to work every day, because I was so nervous about doing the wrong thing, saying the wrong thing, parents getting upset, administrators getting upset. And I'm a really great teacher. I know that. But it was time. It was time to make that change and let it go. I love it. I will always love teaching. But in a sense, I feel like I'm kind of still doing that in my content with a lot of the content that I am creating and making. So,
Cassie, that is so inspiring because there are so many people that are probably going to watch this and that maybe won't even see it until later, but they're waiting for their moment. and they are stuck at a job. I mean, that used to be me. Me and Michelle talk about this all the time, but that used to be me too. Just like working a job that I don't like and driving to work and just thinking like I see other people, I see other content creators leaving their job to go do something that truly makes them happy. And I just remember always just being like, is it ever going to be me? So I want to ask you, Cassie, did you ever actually think it was going to be you and you were going to have this moment of resigning?
I didn't think I wanted it to be me so bad within my heart and soul. I'll never forget, like, 2 Christmases ago, we were at a family function, and my uncle was like, "Oh, I'll give you the $5 you're gonna make on TikTok." And because I was like, I made $4 in the creativity program, whatever it was at the time, he's like, "I'll give you the $5 you're gonna make." And I'm like, really? Because you want to know what I'm making right now? Like, surpassing my teaching income within a month. It is insane. And from that point on, I was like, I am going to do this. I'm not only going to prove to him and to everybody else that I can do it, I will do it. And I'm going to show myself and my kids that you don't have to be locked into a career that you were grown up thinking you were going to have. I was reflecting back last week, and like when we all were younger, it was police officer, teacher, firefighter, doctor, nurse. Like there were these things that you thought you needed to go and do, and there was nothing else. And I mean, yes, I've always wanted to be a teacher, but content creator wasn't something that was there. It wasn't something that I ever thought that I would do. But I believed that I could do it. I knew that I could do it. And I'm just in awe every day now that I get to wake up and continue what I'm doing and be so happy doing it.
That's so cool. That's so cool, Cassie. Take us back to January when you first joined Brands Meet Creators. How much money were you making as a creator then?
So I want to say in the UGC world that I was living in and still do UGC, I was probably making on average like $4,000 a month, which was still absolutely amazing. And I had always gotten the Brands Meet Creators emails just on a different account for like probably 2 years. And I was like, you know what? I'm getting these emails. I'm going to dive in. I'm going to join. I'm going to see where life takes me. And truthfully, just the community has shaped my whole perspective of where I can go. Putting yourself in front of people who are doing what you're doing and understand you is really, really helpful. So come January and like TikTok shop, I maybe have one TikTok shop video then, and then jumping on calls here and there when I can. And it's like dive full force into TikTok shop. This is where it's at. You need to be here. And I did. And then as the months rolled on, it was like, okay, I went from $1,000 on TikTok shop to 2,000 to 4,000 to 10 to 30 to 40. And now I'm like, all right, what's next month going to bring? So, I mean, it's been crazy to have the amount of support and the connections that I've gotten with BMC. I mean, a couple of my now really close friends that I feel comfortable texting and asking questions to, and hey, watch my video. Hey, check this out. What do you think of this? I need help. I didn't have that before. I felt like I was alone doing it, but now I'm in a connected space where everyone's doing what I'm doing.
That's exactly how I felt when I joined BMC as well. So I'm just so happy for you. And honestly, like, I am curious. In January, you really started to do more TikTok shop stuff. How does that look as a mom of 3 kids and a wife and a full time teacher? Like, I'm so curious because I know there's a ton of moms that want to do content creation.
So when I started content, I was home on maternity leave with my son, my youngest, and that was like fall 21, I think it was. And I kind of was like, oh, I'll start doing videos about my breast pump and this and that because it was stuff I was doing every day, no matter what. And that's how it all kind of started and panned out. And then I was going back to work and it was like, all right, what's a working mom do? And I was doing day in the life of a working mom and my pumping videos at work that almost actually got me fired. That's a story for another day. But different things like that. And truthfully, it was then we were building our house at the time. So we were living in a 2 bedroom rental house with 3 kids. It was a complete dump, but it's the sacrifices that you make for the future life that you want to have. And we were willing to do that for the time. But it was waking up at 4 o'clock in the morning to get my content done. It was going to bed after the kids, well after the kids went to bed, running on 3 hours of sleep. The biggest struggle was lighting because the rental house was horrible lighting. And then you know what it's like to only have nice light certain times during the day. And that's when my kids are awake. So that was the biggest struggle for me. But this last year, I actually took leave off of my teaching job because things were just, they were getting to be too much, getting to be too stressful. And I just wanted to be happy doing what I wanted to do. And that's when my content really started taking off. So my kids were still going to daycare. Everyone's like, well, you could do it with at home with them. I'm like, you can, you will, and you will figure it out. But when you reach a certain level, you, like Mike said, you can't grow into the pain. You need to know what has to go for you to continue to succeed. So I've really tried to make hard rules in my family, in our house, where it's like I'm not doing content when we're at dinner, putting the phone down when they get off the bus and until they go to bed. And yes, I might miss some golden hour opportunities with light, but other things are also important. But you just have to want to do it and you can't give up. There's so many people in my family who are like, "Oh, teach me what you're doing. Tell me how to do it." I'm like, I can, but if you are not going to invest and truly put all of your efforts into it, I'm not going to waste my time. It's not worth it to me. Go watch some TikTok, YouTube videos of other creators cuz I'm not going to do it for you. You have to want to do it, and I was self-taught, just by continuing to watch people and then finding a community that I can grow with and get ideas from and watch their videos. I was ready for that at that point. So, I hope that answers your question.
No, it totally does. It sounds like, I mean, you're like self-starter, you're motivated, and it sounds like you were just like, okay, I'm going to use what I can with what I have.
Mhm.
And that is honestly such a good answer. Like you said, like, oh, I have a baby, a newborn, I'm breastfeeding or I'm using a breast pump. Let me
Mhm.
just incorporate creating content around what I'm just doing
Yep.
in my everyday life. And that's exactly how I got started too. So I love that you said that because that's realistic. That's not like setting an unachievable goal from the beginning and then letting yourself down. So I love that. Yeah, that's amazing.
Just doing things you're already doing and finding a way to monetize it, I guess.
Capturing it, yeah, even just to practice. Like if you spent a year just practicing filming what you're doing and then learning how to edit, that
Mhm.
is a year well spent. Because time
Absolutely.
flies and every day showing up, just trying to be 1% better. It sounds like that's what you did. And
Yeah.
you, I don't know, I'm curious, were there ever times when you felt like quitting?
Um, Honestly, no, I don't think so. I just feel like I know where I want to be and what it's going to take to get there. And at least for my family, like when we built this house, we didn't know I was going to continue content, but when we built the house, my husband was like, "You are agreeing to work forever if this is the house that you want, because I'm happy living in our other house, the other two, three houses that we've had in the last 10 years." But I was like, no, I want this. I want this for our family, and I'm willing to work. I'm willing to sacrifice whatever it is. Now, did I think that when we bought the house or bought the property 3 days before I had our son that I would be quitting my teaching job? No, but now my goal is I'm not going to give up. I'm going to pay my house off. I have other goals. We're going to put money towards our kids for college, things that maybe were not super high on our priority list. It was maybe just getting by or whatever. I don't want to give up because as much as I quit my job, I'm not a quitter. I'm just finding a new way to find success and show my kids that we are workers, or we don't just get by. We want to succeed at everything that we do. And it's okay to fail, but we just keep working and working and working and always desiring more because we want better for ourselves, not to be the best, not to have the best things, because that's not the type of lifestyle we live, but we just want better for our kids, our family, their futures. So
I think that you're inspiring them for sure. Cause I
hope
think just
so.
like I can see you're like glowing, like you are just radiating right now. And I can see that
Aw.
you're just so happy with your decision. And I know it was probably scary, but it's almost like the happiness is an indicator of what path you need to take, even if it looks different than what you thought it would. And that's always what we talk about too. Me and Nick are always saying that about like, that is your intuition telling you pivot a little. And it's so amazing that you did that. I'm very happy for you.
Thanks. It's definitely hard to, I don't know, like you think for so long, and I said it earlier, that you're going to be this one thing forever. And I felt like when I made the decision, my husband called me. It was actually like Sunday night of last week, and he was on his way to a work trip. He's like, "You're not going back tomorrow." I'm like, "Yeah, I am. I'm setting up my classroom." It was 10:30. He's like, call your union president. You're not. You are taking the truck, you are packing up your classroom. You are not. I want you to be home. I want you to be present with the kids. I want to have a better relationship. We've been together for 20 years, but like he's like, I want more. I want to travel. I want to do all of those things. And your job's holding us back from doing that. And when he said that, I was like, are you serious? I can't do that. That can't be what happens. I'm going to be a teacher. I'm going to be a teacher forever. And it's kind of like feeling like you're disappointing your inner child, but finding a new way to explore your inner child. Like I always have been a creative person. I've always enjoyed making slideshows for my classrooms, and like CapCut and Canva are the same kind of thing. So it's still doing what I love. And it's cool because now my oldest daughter, she's 7. She's like, "Mommy, can you teach me how to edit a video? Can you record my video and can you teach me how to edit?" I'm like, "Yes, girl. Listen, content creator all the way."
That
Yeah.
is so that is such a good story. I'm so happy you shared that because I mean that must have been so scary. Like I know the feeling of leaving your job and like working so hard, 4 years of college and finally getting a job and you like it and the people there are cool and it feels like you're failing to leave the job or like you said you're disappointing your inner child, but pretend you're talking to like 11-year-old Cassie. Your inner child would be so proud of you for making that decision, being like, it's no longer in alignment with me. And I'm going to be able to do so much better for myself and my family. So, Cassie, what does this really look like? What's the biggest win you've experienced on TikTok Shop? Because one theme that Mike always has in these interviews, one video can change your life. So, I want to know, like, tell us about your best video that comes to mind.
When I really started thinking, holy smokes, this is amazing. And it's not like anything crazy. Like I know other creators have had these videos pop off, but like I posted a stupid video sitting out on my deck at the beginning of June where I was like, I called people freaking lame. I was like, you're lame for charging your phone with a cord when you're not using this Anchor charger that's also a phone stand. And it freaking took off, like made so much money on that. And then I had a Bluey t-shirt that like 2 days later I posted about a 4th of July Bluey t-shirt and like people loved it. But what I realized from those 2 videos, yeah, I was causing some conflict and calling people out. Why don't you have this or whatever? That does sell, obviously, but that was me being more organic. It wasn't scripted. It was super fun. It felt in the moment. I don't know. I still make sales off those videos. Then when we were in San Diego, I was standing on one of the rocks that first night and I did a cakes video about my perky peacocks. And I didn't put the video out until last Thursday or Friday. And I've had insane sales, hundreds of cakes every day since then. I'm like, this is freaking insane. And just the passive income that I woke up this morning and had already made money was just insane. I don't
That's so
know.
cool, Cassie. You're definitely inspiring so many people right now because also, like you kind of said, you did your time of not making money and not being good at it and having to truly sacrifice and try and balance a full-time job and raising your family. You did your time because a lot of people are looking for the way they're like, how do I go from today not knowing anything to tomorrow making a ton of money? And it's not that simple. You know, you have to put in the time and the work and you have to stay positive and you have such a good mindset and I know that's played a massive massive part in your success. What are you hoping the next 6 to 12 months look like?
Oh gosh, I don't even know. I don't think I'm ready to start like my own little community, like a school community or anything like that, but I do want to start down the world of diving into like some digital products, something where I can teach. Maybe even not a digital product. Maybe it's like the series option on TikTok right now where people can subscribe to me and pay for the knowledge that I want to give. I went to a TikTok event in June and I walked up to somebody. I was like, "Hi, I want to work for you. I want to teach creators to do what I'm doing. I'm a teacher by heart. Like, I want to do that." So, I want to find myself in a role where I can teach content, even if it's what I want to share. If someone else is like, "Hey, Cassie, make this engaging and deliver it," that's what I want to do. Still doing my content, but being able to still feel like I'm teaching people in some capacity. I think that's where I want to move down the road. And obviously, everybody just loves the passive income. Michelle, you know, like your Amazon stuff, you probably in the morning, you're like, huh, that was a nice day yesterday. You know, just in knowing that you did the work one time and it's just coming in, coming in, coming in, coming in. And it's possible. Anybody can do it. You just have to freaking work for it.
I just want to say too, I love that you definitely have that like teaching desire because I know Nick and I do too. And so it's nice because like yeah, the passive income is amazing, but I like to find my purpose, and I do find that more meaningful purpose in helping others, in connecting with others, in being part of the Brands Meet Creators community. So I love that you're not like, okay, peace out, I'm just going to go like do my own thing, but you're like, no, I still care and want to give to others because it's so important to still follow that. Even if it's not in a classroom, you're still going to be teaching. It just, this wasn't in existence when we graduated college, you know?
Exactly. And I've had people reaching out to me through different organizations and things that I'm like, just like I dabble in from here and there. And they're like, can we get on a Zoom call with you? I'm like, no, I can't do that for free. Like my knowledge is my knowledge. I got to book you up on a Calendly or whatever it is. You got to schedule some time. But I know that that's there because people are asking me what I'm doing. So that's part of where I want to go.
Amazing, Cassie. Thank you so much for taking the time to share just a little bit about yourself and your story for everyone today because
Sure.
I mean this already is like the beginning of you starting to impact those other people and get your name and your story out there, especially now that you've
Yeah.
kind of cut ties with anything that's not in alignment anymore. So we're
Mhm.
just so proud of you and can't wait to watch more unfold, and thanks for joining us today.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you're welcome, Nick. And you did say in San Diego, you're like, I read my card. It was something like, we're going to have them laughing all the way to your 2 weeks notice. Well, like literally I came home from San Diego and it was pretty much 2 weeks and I'm see you later, people. So thank you guys. I mean, having an opportunity to be with other creators who are doing what I'm doing, the knowledge that I'm gaining is just, it's amazing. So I thank you guys for the support and thank you guys for having me because this was a lot of fun.
Yeah, Michelle and I don't mess around with our manifestations. We knew it was coming soon for you, and we're super
Love it.
proud. And we'll talk to you soon, Cassie.
Thanks. Chat soon.
That was awesome.